Heidi.
She loves the place here, so it's been coming many years. So I'd like all the pros to stand up, if you could, please.
Yes.
I think you'll agree that we have a great staff and they do a terrific job and they all care about making you better if they can. And,
If they can.
that's why they're here. So I thank them personally for a terrific job. I feel real comfortable sending you away, even to Simon with Michelle. Where are you, Michelle? But I'd like to thank all the returnees. We had 7 new people this year. 7.
We're all here. We're all from New York.
23 returnees, which is
You're a good person.
but it's nice to have some new bodies to work on.
Oh, great.
I hope you enjoyed the week. We certainly enjoyed having you, and it makes us happy if we see improvement. And it makes us happy to see you enjoy that,
Kevin
because
and
it's a
Nate.
terrific sport.
Oh.
And first time I saw tennis, I fell in love with the game, and there's not a better sport around, in my opinion. So, all we could teach you in 1 week. I promised to get a lot of people into the qualifying of Wimbledon, but didn't manage it this year. So you might have to come back for another week. But everything takes a long time. But we might put a rush on for you, Larry. I thought everybody really got on well on the court. It's difficult to walk on with different opponents, and everyone was terrific this week. And no rain, which was nice. The only thing we can really teach you in 1 week is to, when you go back, that you know why you missed the shot. Because you can't improve that drastically in 1 week. So it's over a period of time, some drills that you can do when you get home. Think about what you're doing when you walk onto the court all the time, and if you ever play a match and don't miss a return of serve, Joy and I are happy to get an email to hear about it, because that's the name of the game. And also cutting out your unforced errors, that's the name of the game. And I think you've all achieved that this week. So I hope you enjoy it. We love this hotel because it's owned by a family, and it's the greatest move I made in starting here back in 1974, and it's been great for our family. So the more we see you all again would be great. And I'll tell you a couple of interesting stories. I've had 4 great events. Number 1, marrying Joy.
Bless her.
I'll put you, Joy, in front of winning Wimbledon.
He definitely
I
is.
mentioned this to a few people last week, and they said, "Oh, you've got to tell everybody about this." I don't know if it's what you really want to hear, but it was a great moment for me. Back in '54, I was 17, playing my first trip to Wimbledon, and I went into the men's bathroom, and who was pointing Percy to the porcelain was General Montgomery.
Wow.
And I was very shy when I was 17, and so I climbed up next to him, and I had a bit of a look, and then pointed Percy to the porcelain, and I didn't say a word, but that was a terrific moment.
Men can laugh at
My
this, and we
next
find it really
great experience was at Wimbledon. I was invited to the Royal Box, and 20 minutes before 2 in the final, the president of the All England Club announces, everybody go to the bathroom, we got to be in the seats by 10 to 2 in the Royal Box. So women go this way, men go that way. So I wait until right at the end, and it's getting pretty close to 10 to 2, and I walk in. Who's already pointing Percy to the porcelain is the Prime Minister of England, Mr. Cameron. And so I step up next to him and point Percy to the porcelain. I take a bit of a look. Then I'm finished, and I get down and I'm washing my hands in the sink nearby, and the President and the Prime Minister's still going. And I couldn't help myself. I had to say something, so I said, gee whiz, Mr. Prime Minister, you have a marvelous bladder. And he looked at me and he says, you know what? That's the only marvelous thing about it. So they're the 4 really important things. But anyway, traveling overseas when I was 17 was a great experience, and I learned a lot of lessons very early in life. Fortunately, I was brought up on a dairy farm where hard work was expected of the whole family to survive. So I had learnt good working habits, and matter of fact, my job was to round up the cows every morning and afternoon. And I never wore shoes at that stage, and my soles were a lot harder than a pair of shoes. And early in the morning, before I walked to school, which was a small school, I'd have to round up 100 cows. And sometimes I'd go by foot and take the dogs with me, and it'd be a frosty morning sometimes, and I couldn't wait to see a cow lift her tail and do her business and see the steam rising up, and I'd race over, jump into that cow pile because my feet were freezing to death.
Oh my God.
Frostbite.
Look at Meryl.
So I
Meryl
made
loves
my
the
way
stories.
back to the cow shed, jumping from cow dung to cow dung, so I wouldn't get frostbite. But that was part of living on a farm. And I did finally wear shoes when I was about 12 or 13. But it was a great life. And when I first travelled overseas, we lost the Davis Cup match to America in Sydney. Back then, Davis Cup really meant a lot. And we had a great team. We always seemed to be playing against America in those particular years, the late 50s and all the 60s, because we had most of the leading players in the Macy's and Davis Cup. Hoden Rosewall playing Vic Satius and Tony Traver. Great Davis Cup, 27,800 people around one court. all temporary stands pretty much. And America beat Australia 3-2, then we had to pick a team to go overseas. And so they picked Ken Rosewall, Lou Hode, Mervyn Rose, Rex Hartwick, Neil Fraser, and Ashley Cooper and myself were the two juniors who were promising at that stage. And so we were added to travel and be the orange squeezers and the practice partners of the other players. So that was fabulous. We toured the world for the next 6 months. And it was a great eye-opener. And first time I got to Paris, Harry Hopman, who was the Davis Cup captain, said, go to the draw and see how the French make the draw. Out of 128 men and 128 women. And it was interesting. They did it slightly different from Great Britain and Australia and the US. So I went there, and it's exciting to see your name being plucked out and put on the board to see who you're playing first round. Because we were put in, they didn't have a qualifying back in *54. And so we were automatically, as promising juniors, put into the main draw. We would never made it if we had qualified. Anyway, I'm drawn to play a guy from by the name of Joseph Ashbach from Hungary. Now, I'd never heard of him. Well, I didn't get too many newspapers or much news in Blackbutt, where I came from. But I was dying to meet this gentleman, and I went into the dressing room and told Ken Rosewall I'm going to play Joseph Ashbach, and I may have a chance to win the first round. And he looked at me and held up his hand like this, and I said, what the heck's that? And he said, that's how many games you're going to win in 3 sets. So I was dying to see him, and so on the 2 o'clock, we're playing on court 2, I go out early, and then an elegant gentleman comes out wearing long creams, and I thought he was the umpire, so I introduced myself, and he says, my name is Joseph Ashbach. So we proceed to warm up, and I use the expression, make the ball talk. Now this gentleman could really make the ball talk. I mean, he jerked me around like I was a ping pong ball. In the warm-up, you know, he never missed a ball. He never missed a ball. So Ken's laughing so much in the stands because he knows I'm going to get a complete lesson. And finally he had to leave. Anyway, I'm playing him, and he dropped shots. He drop shotted so well I could get to it, but not too much with it. And I was fast at that stage, young, and thought I was fit. Next ball's over my head this far from the line. And then he'd start the rally again, and he went down the line with accuracy, cross-court with accuracy, drop shot unbelievable, and he jerked me back and forwards from the net and back. And I'm covered in red dirt and perspiration. He hasn't even got a crease in his pants. I got the lesson of my life, and it was the best thing that happened to me because I knew then I didn't know how to play the game. I got beaten by an elderly gentleman who was way past his prime, and a hiding I got. And I go into Ken, and he said, what happened? I said, well, I got 4 in 3 sets. And Ken said, don't feel too badly. Go out and have a look at the honor board out here in the French Championship. So I go out and look at the honor board, and lo and behold, whose name is up there winning the French Championship in 1947, the first year after the Second World War. And he beat South African Eric Sturgis in the final. So then I didn't feel too bad. But that was a great opportunity and a great lesson. So I learned a lot from that. And funny things happen traveling the world. Interesting people you meet. We've got a lot of interesting people here that we meet every time. And Joy and I can pretty much go anywhere in the world and pick the phone up and say, we're coming, can we get coffee together or whatever. Except the only place at the moment is Siberia. Haven't been there. And talking about Siberia, there was a Russian player, and you can probably go back to your Russian friends, a player by the name of Laius at Wimbledon. One year he's playing with another Russian player, and they're a pretty decent doubles team. And he went back to Russia and found his best friend in bed with his wife. So he shot his wife.
That's one thing you could do.
What a great story.
He shot his wife.
point losing it
Now, there was this girl who came to the tennis camp.
Obviously,
Her
perfect.
name, Joy, you always
Yeah,
know her name.
right?
From Estonia, the dentist from
yeah,
Estonia.
Ooh.
You remember her, long socks,
Yeah.
tall and blonde.
Yeah.
When I was giving a lecture on she's doing bench press down the side of the court. And so I said, and then when I got her onto the court, I said, who on earth taught you these grips? And she had the worst looking strokes, unfortunately, I'd seen. And she said, oh, my coach is Laius. And I said, what? Is he out of jail yet? Because when he shot his wife, he was in jail for 25 years. And she said, what do you mean out of jail? So I told her the story. So I said, but there's very interesting people you meet. Leading dentist in Estonia.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you met her, didn't you? You met her too? Yeah.
Remember the ear? The ear. I like this dress.
But everybody asks me a lot about Lord Raver. Lord Raver. In Japan, it's Lord Raver. They get their R's and L's mixed up. I played him once in Japan, and
I didn't get it.
on match point he hit a net cord in the third set to pass me, and the umpire screams out, game, set and match to Lord Raver. So I was pretty mad losing, and as I'm crossing to the net player, or the umpire, I said, there should be a "the" in front of that. Lord the Raver. But that wasn't very interesting. But, I played with Rod down in Puerto Rico. I always tell this story that I think all the pros can tell it.
You beat him.
And we're playing against Bobby Price, who's an interior decorator, the family in Southern California, and Freddie De Jesus from Puerto Rico. We're playing the first round of the doubles. We lose the first game, and the umpire, American umpire, can't pronounce Latin American names, and he says, game to Jesus Christ.
Oh, God.
So I turned to Rocket and I said, we don't have much chance today. You think I should
That's
come off with you? You think so?
Jesus Christ. All the stories are racist.
Well, at least this one was. You got no money.
The cork joke. You've all heard the cork joke, I'm sure. You all know.
Death is Beatles.
Anyway, 7 people can listen, the rest can go to bed. Oni Paran from New Zealand, a pretty decent player. Had to, in the amateur days, you'd take out a round the world air ticket and take off going from New Zealand through the Middle East, through Europe and to England, and then back to Europe and back to the States and fly home via Hawaii, back home into New Zealand. buy a ticket for about £1,200 back then, the New Zealand pound. So he hurt his neck, and every time he looked up, the muscle here, something happened to it, his neck would collapse a little bit on his shoulder, and so I'm expecting a walkover. So that was in Cairo. He was making his way up, so he comes up to the court with a piece of string tied to the button on his shirt, and it's about this long, a cork on the end of it. I said, "Honey, what's the hell is the cork doing?" And he said, "Well, that enables me to play this match. If I play this match, now the club here will give me meals for the rest of the week, then I go to the next place." And I said, "You're going to play me with a cork in your mouth, are you?" And he said, "That's the only way I can play." So anyway, we rally, and then eventually comes to the net, puts the cork in his mouth, says, "Give me a lob." So I give him a lob, and he holds his head pretty steady, and he hits the smash away. And I win the toss, and then I elected to receive. I wanted to see him serve. So he got the first, puts the cork in, serves, races in, spits the cork out, and it's a fault. So he has to find the cork, which is going backwards and forwards. He puts it in, spins in a second serve, runs in, spits out the cork. I immediately lob. So he can't get the cork, put the cork in first before he can lift his head. So it's going backwards and forwards, and finally he puts the cork in, and I've hit a winner over in the corner. I lobbed. I lobbed all during the match, about the same amount as Irving and Mercy, who have exceptional lobs. Aga. Where is Aga? Aga, I apologise, Aga. You were probably number 1 seed. Aga, all the pros say Aga. Well, we're talking about a good lob.
Irving's got a great.
Can you tell us how many times you won
He doesn't always smile about it.
How many times did you win Wimbledon?
Twice.
The first time you won Wimbledon, how much did they pay you?
We had a £25 money order.
He told us. Heidi told us.
First chance you won Wimbledon.
And what they used to do in Wimbledon, for example, we had a lot of Australians playing it, and they'd give a certain amount, divided up with the number who were in the draw. So if there was, sometimes you'd be lucky to get maybe £200 to pay for your month's stay in London, which you'd have to do. And we always went and looked for apartments, you know, and tried to do that to survive. But not the $2.5 million that they get now.
Nowadays.
But,
You're the beginning of a hell of a go round. What year was that you won that in
what, Wimbledon?
Wimbledon?
64. But no, we played for the love of the game. It was really amateur, and that's all sport, you know, or not only tennis, but all around the world it was the same. And now the prize money is just phenomenal, and you know, the baseball players are
Yeah.
250 million, you know, they're getting paid, you know.
Basketball.
But
Outrageous.
and they're flat out batting 300. But I had an interesting time when I first went to New York. That's where I became a Dodger fan, 1954. Our whole team stayed out at Forest Hills because it was played out in Forest Hills at that time. And we had a lady who cooked for us, and the whole team stayed in this stone house out in Forest Hills. And she was a baseball fan, and she was crazy about the Dodgers, Duke Snyder and all that group, you know. Yeah. So, and Pee Wee Reese and all those, you all know them from New York and the Yankees. But I'd go down in the cellar with her every night and watch baseball, and she taught me how to understand. Huh?
You watch
Yeah, right.
baseball.
Yeah, watch baseball in the cellar. Joe and I have lived in room 111 for over, well, about 12 years. It's our life. So we know where the bathroom is. And once Joy went to Paris, and I came down for dinner and went up, watched TV, fell asleep. Then I woke up about 3 and the TV's still going, so I reached for the flicker. Our door, we have never locked our door in all those years.
To room 111?
In all that time, 44 years, we've only had 2 people come into the room. And so when I felt more flesh than joy, I turned on the lights and here's a guy in bed with me starting. So what do I do with someone in bed with me at 3 a.m. in the morning? So I opened the door, looked down the hallway, saw some light coming out of room 117. I scampered down there. I put a robe on, of course, and no one was in there. So I assumed he walked in to sleep,
Oh my
tried
God.
my door, and jumped into bed with me. And so I had to go back, try and get him back into his room. So he was pretty much out of it, and an elderly gentleman, not real well. So I shook him, woke him up, and I said, excuse me, you're in the wrong room. So no action. He had his little slippers down by the bed, stark naked. So I sat down on the bed and lifted him up, put his arm around my neck, reached for the slippers, and so I start leading him back to his room. About 3:30 in the morning, we're just going back to his room after we've spent a very interesting night together. Little did I think anyone would see us. Thank God no one saw us.
Oh my God.
So I tucked him into bed, pulled up the sheets, turned off the light, and went back, jumped into bed, and went to sleep. Went down to the front desk the next morning. Victor Ferrari was in charge then. You probably remember Victor Ferrari. Anyway, I said, what a lousy hotel you run here. People jumping into bed with you at all hours of the night. And Victor said, what do you mean? I said, well, there was a gentleman from 117 I put back in his room, about 3:30, and he said, what in the hell did you do to him? I said, nothing. I said, because we had to take him to the hospital this morning.
Oh my God.
And I said, yeah, he wasn't in real good shape. And he said, well, so anyway, he was in the hospital for 3 days, and unfortunately he died. So that was pretty sad, but...
End on a positive note.
And on a positive Joy got so much respect from everybody. When they looked at Joy, and we'd been married quite a few years by then, they really respected Joy, because a guy slept with me for one night and dies 3 days later. And Joy and I are still happily married. And, she's still alive. Well, I have a million stories, but it's, I don't know if some people have got to take off. It's only 9 o'clock.
Right. Somewhere. 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh, the Virginia Wade. Okay. This is for the Brits.
This contest not too far off.
What? Oh, no. Oh,
In fact, I think she learned from Virginia.
When Virginia Wade won Wimbledon, the Queen was present for that. And she was playing against Betty Stover from Holland. And John Barrett was doing the BBC at that stage, and he spoke proper English. And Fred Stolley went up to do a bit of colour, just for some questions thrown to him now and then. And then after, when Virginia, someone was serving to Virginia, she'd get down really low with her legs here, way down low like this. And so John Barrett said to Fred, isn't it incredible, Fred, how wide Virginia spreads her legs
Oh God.
when she's waiting for service? Well, Fred tried to speak, and he couldn't. Then John Barrett realized what he said, and he couldn't speak. So the producer continued on with the commentary until they composed themselves. But I think this one would like the Ocker story, Joy, don't you? That might clear the room. Might clear the room. Tom Ocker, the Flying Dutchman from Holland. You've all seen him play. And Mark Cox from England. Well, we're in Dallas, Texas, at Woodland. At the Woodlands? At the Woodlands.
Hook 'em horns.
That's Houston. But in Dallas, they'd have the WCT finals every year, and we were trying to get into the doubles, Fred and I. We were past our prime, and we had a chance if we won this match of getting into the doubles, not the singles. And so we're out at the Woodlands, which is about an hour out of Houston for development, and we're playing Ocker and Cox. Cox a left-hander, and we're
I don't know if
8-all in the third set.
it's both yours.
So Mark Cox serves to me, and I always played the forehand court. So naturally I return his serve at the shoelaces to get into the point, what you all are doing now. Not going for an outright winner, not hitting it to the net player, but at the shoelaces of the person coming in. So we sets off the point. We had the best rally of the whole 3 sets. And we're climbing up almost into the front row, getting smashes back on this indoor court. And we lose the point, and the umpire, the crowd goes berserk, best rally. The umpire gets overexcited, and he says, 1 point, cocksucker. So Fred has to serve the next point. It's in the tiebreaker. I'm standing in front of the umpires right here, and Fred's about to serve to the backhand corner, and he can't serve. He's laughing so much. The crowd's was making quite a bit of noise, so I say to the umpire, when you get excited, go Ocker Cox. Fred serves the double, never hits another ball in the court. We lose.